Today's show is sponsored by Indie Film Hustle's Filmmaker Process. We provide filmmakers with professional services to get their films or series funded, finished, and distributed. For more information, go to filmmakerprocess.com. You learn more from bad writing than you do from good writing. Can you tell us a little bit about what you learn when you read a bad script?
Well, you often learn sort of what you shouldn't do, and more importantly, why. But I also think that, because I've read so many scripts, I've read over 60,000 scripts in 30 plus years. So I have so many stories in my head. So let's say that you write a screenplay and I read the screenplay and I don't think it works. Now, I can guarantee you that I have read at least a dozen screenplays very similar to your story, because you're all using the same archetypes and tropes and motifs, and I can then think on those other dozen screenplays and how they were able to make work what you weren't able to make work.
Interesting.
And then I can sort of compare and contrast. And so often I can sort of figure things out, or even through rewrites, because I have to read a lot of rewrites. I can remember, a script like Man on Fire with Denzel. I must have read 17 or 18 different drafts of that script as it came in. But I can remember very specific scripts that I had read that didn't work, and I couldn't figure out why it didn't work. I could articulate that it wasn't working, and I might even be able to say why it wasn't working, but couldn't tell you how to fix it. And then you get a rewrite that comes in, and whatever it was that I was feeling has been altered. The rewrite is much more successful, and then I'm able to look at what they did and compare it to what it was before, and then have a learning experience through that. I always bring up Matchstick Men as an example. That was the Ridley Scott, Nicolas Cage movie. And I don't want to screw this up, but in the film, Nicolas Cage is a con man who meets his estranged daughter, and then they go out and do a con together. And then, spoiler alert, we find out that she has conned him. She is not his daughter. And,
right, I remember that. Yeah.
Right. So really clever. The first draft that I read, she was his daughter. She was his daughter. And so then you get through this third act. It never has a really interesting climax, and it really felt like something was missing, and I couldn't figure it out. And then 7 months later, a rewrite comes in, and I read that, and I'm like, that's it. Of course, it makes total sense. This is a movie about cons. This is a movie about confidence men. So you need a great con. You need a twist in the third act, a la The Sting.
Right.
And, this has been all sort of part of my learning experience through reading so much. And I studied dramaturgy as a graduate student at NYU. I have an MFA. But really, so much of my education has come through reading scripts, and of course being forced to read scripts. So my education has been at gunpoint, so to speak, but I've learned a lot as a result.
So you're like a database of story and screenplays because of just sitting around reading, very much like Bill Murray in Groundhog's Day. So I'll bring it back to that. He's like, maybe there is no God. Maybe he's just been around so long that he knows everything. So I'm not saying you're a god, sir, but you do have a database of all these stories in your head that helps you. It's like a computer almost that you could just kind of go in and dab into things. That's very interesting.
Well, a lot of what I do is somebody saying, hey, we're looking for romantic comedies for this actor. Can you, come up with a list? And so, yeah, so I go into my database, which is not just here, but is also on my computer. Although I have a very antediluvian kind of system, so it's very tough sometimes. It's really weird how I have to find projects. I can often remember the stories, but titles now for me, because there's so many titles, I can't recall titles. Sometimes I'll have a coworker who will call me and say, hey, listen, last week you read the ABC script. And I'll say, wait. I don't remember that script at all. What was the log line? Because, that was like 30 scripts ago for me already.
Right.
So it's like I read it, I move on to the next. But once I get a prompt, everything opens up in my head. And then I can really remember the story.
To watch the rest of this interview, head over to bulletproofscreenwriting.tv.